everyone, and welcome back. If this is your first time, I hope you'll stay. Espero que te quedes. So today it's all about comida, comida, comida. It's all about food. Now, I really wanted to do this video because I am constantly talking about food. And of course, la comida es esencial para vivir. And I want to live and I live to eat. I live to eat, no como para vivir, vivo para comer. Right, so these are 10 things that I noticed when I moved to Spain that perhaps are a little bit different in the UK. So let me know at the end what your opinions are, if you've ever visited Spain, what you noticed and what you like about their way of living and experiencing food. Okay, let's begin. Okay, so on my first trip here, when I was doing Erasmus, when I was at university, I went to cafe in the center and I said, well, I asked for a hot chocolate, and because it was winter, and in the winter, I love to have a nice cup of hot chocolate. And so when I asked for the hot chocolate, they came back with a mug of this thick chocolatey thing that I'd never had in my life before. And so I was like, es que pedí un chocolate caliente. Y la mujer dijo, sí, that is a hot chocolate. And so I explained what I meant, and so she proceeded to explain that I shouldn't ask for hot chocolate, I should ask for colacao. Okay, so it's just the chocolate powder that you get poured in milk, which is essentially what a hot chocolate is for us, but it's like us saying, can I have a Cadbury's? A Cadbury's is just a mark, it's just a label. So that's what it is. If you want a hot chocolate, well, what for us is a hot chocolate would be un colacao. Okay, so that was my first experience with eating out when I arrived in Spain. Okay, and the second one is this. Okay, so I went to this nice little village called Chinchilla. This was when I just arrived, and of course they brought out the bread, and I thought, oh, okay, well, I could do with a bit of butter. I could do with a bit of butter. No, but so I was like, can I have some butter, please? Can I have some butter, please? And the girl was like, okay. She gave me sort of weird look. So I was like, okay, maybe it's the way I asked, or maybe I pronounced mantequilla, butter, the wrong way. So anyway, she goes to the kitchen and she comes back with this massive tub of butter. And I was like, okay, I only wanted a little bit. But it was only because she wasn't really used to serving butter, because they eat their bread with olive oil. So that was another learning point for me when I just arrived. I still ask for butter all the time. You will see butter if you go to a hotel where they serve continental breakfast, then you will see butter at breakfast, but it's not something they will give you in the evening, or if you don't ask for it specifically. Okay, so remember that. Okay, perhaps one of my favorite Spanish food trends is the tapas. So when you're in Spain and you go out and you have a drink, they will normally bring that drink back with a small snack. And sometimes the snack is not that small. It really does depend on the bar or the restaurant. It depends, and the area as well. Where I live, the tapas tends to be, yeah, they tend to be quite big, and so it can be quite filling. So you have to bear that in mind if you're going to eat afterwards, if you're going for a lunch afterwards and you don't want to get really full up. Okay, so I love that. And I've said it 100 times. This is a habit that I think we should also borrow. It's a nice one. Okay, so as I studied Spanish at secondary school, I grew up saying Spanish omelette, Spanish omelette. Okay, you differentiate between a Spanish and a French omelette. So when I came to Spain initially and I'd go out, I would ask for a Spanish omelette. But that's just a little bit silly. It's just like going to France and asking for a French baguette. It's just a baguette. So it's the same thing with a Spanish omelette. I had to force myself to remember that it's not a Spanish omelette. You should just ask for an omelette. Una tortilla. Or you could say una tortilla de patatas. So they know it's not just an egg omelette. The French one. Okay? So that was quite funny. Every time I went out with a Spanish person, they would laugh because they'd say, es una tortilla de patatas. Okay, so remember that. We don't have to say Spanish omelette, even though that's what we've been saying for years back in the UK. Okay? They know what you mean. They really do. Okay, this is perhaps one of the traditions that I really appreciate because I love fresh bread. I'm a bread lover. Shouldn't eat as much, but I do. Back at home, I would just normally go, if I wanted fresh bread, I would normally just go to Tesco or Asda's or Sainsbury's, because those are the 3 supermarkets that we have close to where I live. But if you want really good fresh bread or other things you find in the bakery like muffins or pasties, it's so easy to find that here, because on every street corner you're going to find una panaderia, which is a baker's shop. Okay, you're going to find a bakery wherever you go, so you don't have to go to the supermarket and get products that perhaps are not as good as a place that specializes in making baked products. Oh, they're so good, and just the smell alone gets you excited about food. Or maybe that's just me, I don't know. Okay, another one that you might find odd, because we don't tend to do it as much, is when you go out to eat with a group of people. Normally the waiter might say to you, ¿Quieres una ensalada para el centro? Like, do you want it for the center? Maybe it's a salad. Do you want a salad for the center? And it just means that you're going to share. That as well, when I first arrived, took a little bit of getting used to, because I was always used to ordering my own food and eating from my own plate. Whereas in Spain, it is very normal that, you know, everyone will eat from the center. You know, there'll be a big plate and you'll get your spoon, maybe you'll put some on your plate, or you'll just eat directly from the big bowl that's in the center, or the big platter that's in the center. So that's another change that it depends who I'm with. If I don't know you that well, perhaps I'd rather have my own plate. But it's something cultural that you will notice in Spain. Let me know whether or not you've noticed that, okay? Okay, so if you're in Spain and you're thinking, okay, it's 6 o'clock, I'm going to go for dinner, I'm going to go to the center and look for somewhere nice to eat, chances are you're going to find that most restaurants are closed. And even if they're not closed, even if you do find someone working inside, you're not going to be served dinner, because they're probably still cleaning up after lunch. Lunch is later, so then logically dinner is much later. If you're going out for dinner, it is not strange at all to find places opening from 9:30 to 11:30 or even later. This is normal, okay? For some of us, we find it very, very hard to eat after a certain time in the evening, because we find it just too late. But we go to bed earlier back in the UK as well. And we don't eat as late. So yeah, that's something else that's a cultural difference that I noticed when I moved to Spain, okay? Okay, you know that I have Jamaica in my heart, Jamaica in my soul, and so this next one I really love about Spain. Fresh fruit and vegetables, okay? I absolutely love the fact that you get a lot of seasonal fruit here, and it's really, really good, and you get it in abundance. So you don't have to worry about perhaps not being able to find watermelon in watermelon season, for example, because you're going to find them, people sell them on the street sides. When you go to a petrol station, if you're going on a trip, you'll find them selling big crates of fruit, whether it's oranges, whether it's melons, whether it's cherries. This is really quite normal, and it's not as expensive. So you eat better for less. Now, one of the things that I do every week is go to the market. We have a massive market, and you get really good quality fresh fruit and vegetables. And I have to say, whenever I go back home to the UK, I miss that, because it's just not the same. You know, mangoes, for example. I love mangoes. And so mangoes, you get mangoes all year round in Spain, and really, really great quality, really, really great flavor because of the climate as well in some parts of Spain. The fruit's great, I'm not going to lie. I cannot even compare that one. Spain gets the tip from me when it comes to fresh fruit and veggie. Okay, learn this one. Learn this word, invito. Invito yo. It means I invite. I'm inviting you, which means it's on me. Okay? I have to say, in England especially, this is not very common. People will normally pay for what they eat, and people are bold about it. There's no problem with that, which is fair. I actually prefer paying for what I eat. But I do find that Spanish people tend to be more generous when it comes to eating out. I don't think I've ever heard that phrase in the UK once. Te invito. It's on me. Well, I mean, if it's in your family, well, yeah. Maybe your mom will say that, or your dad. But in Spain, it's something that people do quite a lot, especially if you're just having a drink. They might say, no te preocupes, invito yo. So it's on the house. If the person who's behind the bar is offering you a drink, or it's just a friend, invito yo, okay? Esta vez invito yo. So today, it's on me, okay? This is very common, and it's just really nice to see that someone is kind enough to offer to pay. And of course, if someone's going to offer to pay for you to have something to eat or drink, return the favor. It's just polite. I'm just saying. No one likes a sponge, you know. If I'm always paying all the time and you keep your money to yourself, it gets a bit tiresome, and I'm not going to want to do it after a while. So, te invito, okay? Hoy invito yo, mañana invitas tú. Okay? I'll pay today, you pay tomorrow. That's fair. Okay, the last one, and my absolute favorite, is chupitos. Chupitos, you know, a shot glass. After you've been out eating, it is customary for the waiter to come over and offer you unjubito. And in most places, it's free. They just offer you, it's on the house. I always have, I don't know what it's called actually, it's always a purple one that I have, and it's non-alcoholic. So you can have alcoholic ones or non-alcoholic ones, and it just helps with digestion. So unjubito is a drink that you normally have after your meal to help digestion. I love it. Very Spanish. And it just shows you how the Spanish live, you know. They're very generous, and they love to eat. And obviously you need this to help digestion, because normally the portions are massive. So yeah, that is it. Un chupito. Un chupito, te invito. Okay, that is it. I hope that you learned something new today about food in Spanish and the way they live. And share with me if there's something that I've missed out but that you know about. And with that, I am going to leave you, and until next time, mwah, adios y feliz puente. Yeah, it's bank holiday. Have a good one, guys. Adios. Bye.